Hi, I'm Helen Mac, Australia's corporate optimist. What does that mean? Well, I help organisations create workplace cultures that are positive and productive, where people actually want to turn up at work and do their very best. And face it, if you're in business, whether you own the business or you're managing a department, that's really what you want. Life's too short to be miserable at work for your workers and for you. So my job is to help you create an environment where people want to turn up. Now, I've developed the Juiced Up principles to help you run those sorts of workplaces. And so this session, we're going to look at the Juiced Up principles as they relate to staff engagement. It's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. Everyone wants engaged staff, not getting married, but engaged to wanting to turn up at work. And so in the research that I did on staff engagement, I looked at what were the aspects that people were looking for in their workplaces if they wanted to really get involved and offer their very best every day. So what I discovered is that there's actually 6 areas that people look for in their workplaces, and interestingly they kind of form like pigeon pairs, if you like. Each of them has 2 aspects, and the first one is around leadership and management. Now, what does that mean to us in terms of delivering or creating this positive workplace? Well, what it means is that people are looking for both a sense of leadership. They want the people that are helping them with their work to give them a sense of vision, a sense of future direction. In the Juiced Up concept, that means including some energy and alignment principles. So how do you get your people enthused and energised and excited about turning up at work? And how do you help them get aligned to the vision of the organisation, to choose to be there for good reasons? Now, the corollary of that, the partner of that, is management. Just leadership, right, heading off into the hills, we're all going in this direction, is anybody actually following me, is not going to work unless you also have some management principles that you're using. And so that's about the kind of supervision of people on a daily basis, supervision of tasks, of priorities, of productivity elements. It's getting the job done. And sometimes as a manager these days, or as a business owner, it means rolling up your sleeves, getting in there and helping everybody, but keeping your eye on the big game. So balancing those 2 all the time. And one of the other modules that we'll talk about later is the doing dilemma that managers fall into. But for this session, I just want you to think about where do you stand in terms of your leadership, your long distance, big vision picture, and where do you stand in terms of your management, getting in, are you balanced in those 2 areas? So that's one of the 3 pairs. The second pair is that people these days are looking for a balance between individual contribution. That includes an opportunity for growth and development. So are you providing your people with opportunities for training, for learning on the job, for being mentored by people who are more experienced than them? And are you giving them a sense or an ability to experience individual satisfaction and achievement, a sense of getting something done? These days, with our enormous piles of paperwork, electronic paperwork as well, in boxes or in trays that we can't climb over, sometimes by the end of the day, all we've really done is process some emails and move some paper around. So what are you doing to help your people get that sense of satisfaction, that sense of completion of tasks? And the pair to that is that one of the big pieces that's coming out in research is this idea of team dynamic. People want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to be part of a team, and they consider, particularly the younger generations in the workplace, want to be part of more than one team. So they can see that there's the whole of business team, there's the department team, there might be the project team, and then you also have to keep in mind that they have other teams in their world. That includes maybe sports teams or social teams, and can you connect work and play for the people in your workplace so that they get this sense of being part of something bigger than themselves? So the second pair of elements in terms of juiced up staff engagement is individual contribution partnered with team dynamic or team contribution. So leadership and management, and then this individual versus team aspect. And then the third pair is this balance between reward and recognition. Now, traditionally, reward was pretty simple. We just paid people and they turned up for work. Wasn't that great? That's kind of moved beyond that now, and now we need to look at things like not just paying people salaries and not necessarily giving people bonuses, but structuring those so that they send the right messages. Are your people getting financial incentives, financial increases in their salaries, even if they're not doing a very good job? So the reward aspect needs to recognise individual contribution and 2 other ways or 3 other ways of people's contributing to the outcomes. I'm going to cover those in just a minute. And the partner partner to that is the non-financial rewards, which includes recognition. So that needs to include both some elements that are the pats on the back, the little written thank you note, the email that tells everybody what a great job Fred did on that project this week, but it also needs to include acknowledgement of 3 levels of staff participation. It's always easy for managers to get really excited about the star performers, and it's also pretty easy to develop reward and recognition for those star performers. Now, don't get me wrong, don't stop looking after those stars. You need to make sure that you retain them and keep them in the business, but there are actually 2 other groups that you should also be looking at. The second is your steady as you go, the ones who are the non-squeaky wheels. They're just always there, they always turn up, and sometimes they become invisible, which is not a good thing. So make sure that you have something to recognise and reward those steady contributors who are always there. And the third group is the improvers, the people who are getting better all the time. They may not be your star performer yet, they could be the star of the future. So make sure that you have reward and recognition systems, both financial and non-financial, that recognise those 3 types. So, 6 areas for us to look at. When you go into the module in more detail, you'll see some self-assessment tools and also some information for you to improve in all of those 6 areas so that you can juice up your teams every day and make sure that you're creating an optimistic workforce for you every day.